Can the it who popularised role-playing games and the what who gave dueling collectible card games a megaphone really meet up, have a few drinks, and make sweet mechanical thematical love? Well, if one company owns both IPs, then you're goddamn right they can. Seriously, what better time is there for a casual card gamer or someone with only a passing interest in Magic to give this game a real go? And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I, Ben Jai, am here today with a buyer's guide for those of you that little bit confuzzled by all the available choice of products that you can dip your toes in with. What this video will not do though is go into any particular detail about why, if you're interested in D&D in any way, shape or form, you might want to try this particular Magic the Gathering set. But I'm happy to say that a decent stab has been made to incorporate some role-playing elements both mechanically and thematically. So rest assured, if you spent any time in the Forgotten Realms in your imagination, and for that matter any swords and sorcery fantasy setting, then there's a decent chance your kilt will rise just a little bit for what comes next. First though, a quick primer on the contents of the set. In total you'll find 281 different cards and an assortment of other premium cards that are just variations on the 281. Quite honestly, you can consider the set just 261 cards wide, because the 20 basic lands included in that number you'll pick up in no time. From there we see that common cards are the most voluminous of rarities, to the point where you'll be swimming in these bad boys in no time. Then we see slightly fewer uncommons, which are that little bit harder to come by. And finally, continuing the trend of rarity, we have a decent chunk of rare cards and a smattering of ultra rare mythic cards that tend to generate the buzz around a set. It makes all the sense in the world then to start with the different off-the-shelf packs you can buy. This is your bread and butter of collectible card game purchases. Hand over a few rubles and get a shiny packaged rectangle. Then hold your breath whilst you see what's inside. Ah, glorious cardboard crack. Kicking things off with the budget options are the, I suppose, logically titled Draft Booster Packs. These, if you're returning to Magic, are the booster packs you know and love. 15 cards including the basic land, a splash of uncommons, and one rare or mythic to over or underwhelm you. As you can see from the words on screen, this is going to get you the most cards for your money, and should probably be your first choice if you're not sure how much money you're going to be sinking in to this little rabbit hole. Next up are the, let's just go along with this nomenclature, set booster packs. Functionally speaking, these favour quality over quantity. You're only getting 12 cards and at a price premium, but in exchange you're getting the potential for extra rares and mythics, and you're also getting a splattering of premium cards, the catch-all term for anything that makes the cards look a little bit different. First up are rulebook cards, and I'll give you 0 guesses as to why they're called that, evoking that retro feel to the max. Although old Drizzt here is a rare card, so don't expect to see him in a set booster. Module cards are all about mimicking the old cover art found on D&D tomes. Expect to find the most jarring contrast with the usual layout of Magic cards with these. Once again, doing what it says on the tin are the borderless versions of cards that look a little bit like this Tiamat example here. Although don't shoot the messenger, this is a mythic card, so if you're drooling at this point, you might want to wait till the next slide. Finally then we have the art cards. Focus on the art. Yeah baby, logicked. Oh, and if you're absent your monster manual, you might also find some useful stats on the backside. All hail the mighty Flumph. Before we head on out of Booster Pack Town though, you will have to contend with bandits that want to loot you of all your remaining coin. Yes, that's right, it's lottery time, with the aptly named collector boosters. Crammed full of premium cards, with the list on screen consolidated and condensed into a more layman-friendly list. Suffice to say, this is the pack for you if you like to play with super sexy versions of cards, or you just like to sleeve and folder up cool looking cards. Alongside the already mentioned borderless versions, this time of any rarity, you'll also be feasting your eyes upon some extended art cards like this little fellow. And the showcase cards mentioned encompass any one of the available rulebook or module cards you've already seen. And as you can see from the list, expect to see all sorts of shinies when buying one of these packs. We then segue nicely to the closest thing to a starter set that WotC provides. Whilst this might have been the more logical starting point for the video, some of what's contained herein would have needed more explanation that way. That said, this is for those of you that want a self-contained box to open that gives you everything you need to get to the table and store your stuff. The bulk of what you're paying for is of course the booster packs, of which here you have 10 of the draft variety, giving you a total of 140 non-basic land cards. This will give you more than enough to brew and construct a 60 card deck. The rest on the list should be more or less self-explanatory. The promo card is a neat tie-in, as everybody loves a treasure chest. Everybody. And the fact that this comes with a decent and hard-wearing storage box is the cherry on top. And as the survey says, you can also grab a gift edition of this bundle that's exactly the same inside, except that it also comes with a collector booster for those that like to play the lottery. Whilst that selection of goodies might be enough for most people, we still have a couple more shelves to peruse. First is quite the choice indeed for those that know their favourite colours of Magic and have no real desire to deviate or mix things up. Theme boosters come in each of the 5 colours and will be chocked full of cards of your chosen shade, and they'll also include 1 or 2 rares or mythics. There's also a dungeon theme pack for you to choose from, which will highlight the venturing into the dungeon mechanic. So with the bias on common and uncommon cards, be sure to pick these up if you're gonna, sooner rather than later. And so we arrive at the very end of the road and talk about the only pre-constructed packs you can buy for your adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Commander decks. For those of you not familiar with Commander, it's a 100 card deck singleton format, aka you can only have one of each non-basic land card, as opposed to the traditional 60 card decks that allow you to have up to 4 of each card. Commander is designed to be the casual variant of the game that you'll often find played multiplayer as well. But there are plenty of people in the Magicverse that play a huge amount of Magic, and this is all they play. Much like Magic as a whole, you can dive in as deep as you want and find players that are like-minded. For this set there are 4 commanders to choose from, and there are no guarantees, much like the bundles, that these will be available forever. In fact, the safe bet is that they won't. But if you know someone that plays Commander, or your local gaming store has a Commander player base, then this is the one way you can get into the set without expending any brain power on building your own deck. You're ready to go the minute you hand over your cash. So there you have your buyer's introduction to the latest Magic the Gathering set. It might look like a bit of a minefield barrier to entry, but you have your bundle and you have your draft boosters if you want the easiest choices to start with. And now you know what your other options are too. So come on role players, what are you waiting for? Magic is the tightest card dueling deck construction game you'll find that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Alas, I have been your narrator Benji, and this is him telling you that this video has ended.